Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, I want to talk to you about psychedelics. Again, from the forum. Hey, I guess that just keeps happening. What's the impact? Who's writing me? Who are you? Speak. Diego, thanks for writing in. What's the impact psychedelic drugs could have on one's transformation and enlightenment work? Are they useful or needed? No. Useful? Maybe. Needed? No. Some people believe that these substances increase consciousness, or at least that they help you do it. No. It depends on what you mean by consciousness. In this context, what's the difference between becoming aware, having insights, and achieving dramatic states versus increasing consciousness? Okay, good questions. I'll just go through. We'll see what we get here. What's the impact psychedelic drugs could have on one's transformation and enlightenment work? Well, in my own studies, I'm remembering back, it's like, yes, I've done some psychedelic drugs. For example, let's see. Is that needed to transform? I would say no. However, it does seem to kick a certain amount of ass. Now, I'm not saying one way or another if you should do psychedelic drugs. I am not saying you should or shouldn't. If you do drugs and screw yourself up and try to blame me for that, it's not on me because I'm not telling you to go do that. All right? Let's be clear. That's on you. Not my problem. Not my responsibility. Because, they fuck with your mind. They fuck with perception, experience. Now, they do kick a certain amount of butt. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you have somebody, going off of stories from Peter Ralston, when he's talking about, Carlos Castaneda writing some books, is that he had a student in those books, and the guy was apparently so mentally locked up, and I've also seen this in a couple of other people, their minds are so locked that there's no way to break in there. If you're trying to shake things up or you're trying to get them to grasp something, but they're so locked in their own way of thinking, I do see psychedelics as a good hammer, perhaps, for that kind of thing, because it takes the person, takes their mind on a ride and shows them a reality that, oh, you mean this stuff that I've got going on here isn't as permanent as I thought? Oh, you mean it can kind of change around a bit? Oh, I thought it was like really fixed. So I do see that aspect as like a revealer. Yeah? Now, I have heard stories about, and I think if done intentionally, it can have an impact in that regard, where it helps show the person a different reality than what they're used to, so that then perhaps they lighten up on their perspective and are more open to other perspectives. And this openness, I do see as a service toward becoming more conscious and more aware of things. Right? So now I do see that serving that function as a possibility. Now, in terms of being enlightened, no. If you want to get enlightened, what I mean by enlightenment is having a direct consciousness of the absolute nature of something, usually you, another, reality, existence, these kinds of things, direct consciousness or enlightenment. Again, you have to be very careful when listening to what I say, because if I say enlightenment and you have an idea of something else, not what I'm talking about, then you're going to be mishearing me. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to grasp what I'm saying. All right, so now do drugs, do hallucinogens help for that? Nope. Because all they do is affect relative existence. Your relative experience will be affected by a hallucinogenic drug, then the drug wears off and things tend to solidify again. If they don't, so re-solidify. That's what we call that, insanity. See, it's when reality doesn't stay in one place, basically. It keeps changing. Like, shit, what's what here? Especially imagine if objects did that. It wouldn't work. It's a table, it's a rooster, it's a cup of water, it's air. We don't know. That wouldn't work for surviving, you see. So in terms of being enlightened, no, because enlightenment doesn't give a shit about any experience, life or death. So, and there's no way, because usually when people are asking these types of questions, what I hear and what I see is that they can I get a pill for enlightenment? Can enlightenment give me something? Can I take this drug and then get it? No. The only way you can get it is to get it. And there's no way to get it. You just get it, essentially. But then again, if you believe me, now again, you're off track. So who cares? Fuck it. Screw it. If you want to have an understanding, a real understanding of what I'm saying, get enlightened. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And then take a bunch of drugs, see what happens. See if that actually changes you. Get conscious of what you are, then see if taking any hallucinogens will change you. Now, I'm not saying take hallucinogens. I'm just saying that's something you could do. I don't care if you do it. It's not my problem. But that's if you really want to understand what I'm talking about. So if you want to get what I'm talking about, go ahead and get enlightened, and then you'll know much better what I'm talking about. Now, some people believe that these substances increase consciousness, or at least they help you do it. Now, it depends on what you mean by increased consciousness, but as far as I can tell, no, they don't really help increase consciousness. Again, the only function that I see the psychedelics serving is to really sort of break things open things up for people. I don't know. Almost like the consciousness that happens is a separate matter to the experience. As if, and again, we might put this in a linear time frame, but I don't want to suggest that there is a linear time frame here, but the consciousness happens first, then the experience is affected by that. Something happens that we call getting conscious, and then the experience goes, what the fuck was that? And then your mind puts everything in its place and reforms everything, so you get a new perspective, a new view on reality. But consciousness is it's already the case before any and all experience. So then, does taking something that affects your experience increase your consciousness? And again, you see how I'm making symbols with my hands and gesturing as if consciousness is first, then experience is second, and then in your mind you might put that in a linear progression. Don't. That is a progression. Again, that is something you experience. The consciousness just doesn't progress. It just is. It doesn't do anything. It's what is, whatever that is. So now, does taking a hallucinogen help you get more conscious? Nah. It's not to say that you can't take a hallucinogen and then while you are under the effects of the hallucinogen, increase your consciousness, but I do not see a correlation between the two. I see more of a correlation between, people doing a lot of work trying to grasp what's really going on and increasing their consciousness. That seems to be a correlation. But taking, say, ayahuasca or something, for example, because we've had people come here. They've done lots of hallucinogens, and I look at them, I'm like, you're not any more conscious. You've just done a bunch of drugs and believe some shit about what it gets you. So, I don't know. So in this context, what's the difference between becoming aware, having insights, achieving dramatic states versus increasing consciousness? Well, increasing consciousness is not a state. Say, if we take off, I'm going to take off becoming aware and having insights and just compare having states with consciousness, not in the same domain. And what I mean by that is, again, as I've said before, probably in the last video or in previous videos, drawing from my experience doing contemplation intensives, and if you want to do that, check the links in the description. People go through many, many states. I have gone through many, many, many states, none of which increase my consciousness. They have been really fucking cool. They've been awesome. They've been terrible. They've been weird. They've been psychologically messed up. They've been grandiose and freeing. All states are just more states. You know, the only requisite for an increase in consciousness is the increase itself. And the byproduct of which may be a dramatic shift in state. But the consciousness itself is not the same as the state. And very often people confuse the two. And you can even create conceptually dominated states that are really cool and very freeing and amazing and like mind-blowing. But then when for example, I look at the people, they're telling me about these states, I don't see an increase in consciousness. I see a dramatic change in state. So let's see, what could you do with that, you know, in the context of this video? This is just something that I have noticed over the years and years of work myself. And if you want the kind of understanding that I'm talking about, again, it would behoove you to do years and years of work. I'm not saying you need to do years and years of work with me or anybody else. It just, for example, Muhammad Ali did a fight with a guy who was a football star. And they were like, well, Muhammad Ali, who's going to win that fight? And he's like, me, of course. Then what do you think? Some guy that's done football is going to step in the ring with me? He's like, it took me 15 years to learn how to jab. Jab is a front hand, front foot punch. Jab. Took me 15 years. He knows something about jabbing that other people don't know. Why? Because he's done it a lot. The same thing is like, I know something about contemplation. Why? Because I've done it a lot. And I've seen a lot of people do it. And I've seen what they go through, and I've seen their confusions. I've seen my own confusions, right? So now this understand, right, so then back to what I was saying, this understanding of which I speak, I can talk about it, but until you actually get it for yourself or grasp for yourself what I'm saying, it's just a bunch of hearsay. It's just more stuff. Now you can use it. I do see some value in my communication that you can use it to sort of take a look out at what you're doing and recognize, put my communication, hold it to the candle of what's true. Put it to the test. Don't just hear about it. So I've said some things that I believe to be true, and I've seen to be true, and experienced to be true, relatively speaking. And now you check it out. See? Go ahead and have some insights. And if you have an insight, is there a state along with that? If you enter a state, get honest with yourself. Like, for example, I hold a gun to your head. Fucking Texas, whatever. I'm about to change the battery. If you're in a state, be honest with yourself. Are you actually more conscious? Tell the truth. And then discover, what's really going on. All right, I'm going to change the battery. I'm going to leave the sound running. Catch you guys in a bit. Okay, cool. Back in action. All right. Yeah, so go ahead and do all those things. Increase your consciousness. Get real with yourself. Like, what are states? If you want to notice about what becoming aware is, investigate your awareness. I'm sure I've done some other videos talking about it, but take a look. If you, for example, you can have stuff, there's your experience, and now there are things that are in your experience right now that you're not aware of. Anytime you've ever run into something, that's something you're not aware of. You don't I'm aware of that thing, and you go smack your head into it. No, you're not aware of something, and then you are. So there's stuff in your experience that you're not aware of. So then what does that tell you about awareness? So use it to discover, wait a minute, something's going on here. What is that something? And then take a look. Start to look. Notice. Now, haven't you also noticed that every time you're aware, no matter what it is, Something could be really bad and you're aware. Something could be really good and you're aware. You're still aware. The awareness doesn't change. Your experience changes, but your awareness doesn't change. It seems very constant, doesn't it? And at some point you're not aware, like deep sleep, but then you're aware again. And the awareness doesn't change, but all of the things that you're aware of do change, but the awareness doesn't. Very strange. What's that about? See, and then you start to look into the matter for yourself. Then, you see, because I keep pushing. There does seem to be a theme here. I keep pushing people to get it for themselves. Because if you're not busy getting it for yourself, you're busy believing me. What the fuck good does that do? In this work, none. It gets in the way. Now, do you believe me? See, belief is easy. If I wanted to make a lot of money, I would, as L. Ron Hubbard said, L. Ron Hubbard is the founder of Scientology. Not a Scientologist. I don't condone what they do. But L. Ron Hubbard knew what the hell he was doing when he made Scientology up. He made it up. And, he made a belief system. He said, you want to make money, start a religion. That's how you make the fucking money. Okay? So where are we at here? Yeah. Don't believe me. Stupid. In the context of this work, it's dumb. Screw it. Worthless. Don't want a bunch of believers. I want a bunch of truth-seeking warriors. You see, but now I've said some words, and it's like, warrior, right? But no, people who really want to get what's true. Because if you look in history, I guess, the people that get what's true, that's like they get something real, then they write about it, or they get something real, and then somebody else writes some crap about it. Apparently Buddha didn't write stuff down. His followers did, though, and now what do we got? Buddhism. Jesus, I don't know how much stuff he wrote down, but now what do we got? I mean, Jesus Christ, really? So no, it's the aim here is for you to get something. Again. And I'll probably be a broken record on that. Maybe, for a while. All right, so cool. That's what I have for you on that. Hope it makes a difference. Take a look. If you want to get a little serious, check the links in the description of the video. If you actually want to get real serious, we do workshops here. They're powerful events that we do here in the center that you're invited to. They kick ass. No matter how many videos you watch, books that you read, workshop will trash all that. At least these ones do. Other ones, other people do, probably just give you a bunch of airy-fairy belief stuff that you can feel good about. We don't work on feeling good. We do a fuck ton of work. And if that's something you're interested in, we got it. Come on down. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much for the forum posts. Keep them coming. It helps me generate content for you and serve you in some way. At least that's my hope. Until next time, I'm Brendan Lee with theBrendanLee.com in support of consciousness and skill worldwide, which is founded by Peter Ralston. Till next time, take care. Much love.